be upon this bubble of ours. Welcome back to another video. This is Tarkan. I have another viewer email here to read for you. It's a question regarding a specific person, as people tend to ask me for this channel about specific people that they want to manifest. And then at the end, if you stick around, there's going to be a little bit of a cute little manifesting success story, okay? That's not SP related, but it's a great story, and it actually demonstrates something very important about manifesting. So I'll read the question first, and I'll read the little success story afterwards, okay? So let's get started. So the question, which is SP related, specific person related. I've been really working on my SP manifestation, dropping resistance and opening up to receiving and giving love unconditionally and embracing the bridge of incidents. Remember, I did a little video about that recently. And surprise of the romantic story we can tell. So being surprised by the story that can unfold, letting the universe take care of the process, okay? I now know I have made my mind up on this person regardless of age gap and other differences in situations. Those are details you don't need to worry about. As well as knowing by the time I reach my mid to the end of my 30s, I wish to have a committed partnership, a home, kids, and a family with my ideal man. Hopefully this SP, now this is in brackets, hopefully this specific person or an even better suitor who is more in line with where I wish to head in my level up in life. It's very important. Yet, as I am now fully open to my main specific person, another old crush of mine keeps reappearing in my imaginal acts and daydreams. And my attraction to him has sparked up like I had when he was my private tutor over 4 to 10 years ago. And it was unrequited love, as I would never get with him and split him and his wife up, as they have kids and were what I used as a role model for what I wanted in my ideal future. So in other words, this guy's marriage, your tutor from years ago, they both served as a role model for you. In other words, as a model for the kind of relationship, the kind of marriage life, the kind of life that you wanted to have. I like that. There's something more to be said about that in a minute. Before I knew about manifesting to the level I do now, so all of this you were using even then before you understood manifesting, I wondered why an old crush may keep popping up when I focus on my main specific person or better aligned suitors. He even appeared in my dreams in a previous cycle of this happening when I had a huge shift with my main specific person in midsummer 2020. Is it that others can co-create and manifest us from their perspective of reality? Or is it my higher self is showing me an alternative? I always assumed free will and us pushed out applied to others, like my SP and other crushes from their points of conscious reality, like it does from my point of awareness. So thanks in advance to reading this long email. It wasn't that long. And I give full permission to use this and even my name. So this is from Sophie. Thank you, Sophie. If the content can be of help to others as well as me. Yes, absolutely. And I love that. Thank you for this email, Sophie. Listen, let me answer this real quick first, your questions at the end, okay? Let me just address that because it's important. Can others co-create and manifest us from their perspective of reality? They can. And if that version of how the version of you that they want to manifest coincides with the version that you are being at the moment, then there can be a match, and then you will have you will experience a relationship with them, at least the opportunity for a relationship with them. But listen, again, and this gets a little abstract and weird, okay? None of this infringes upon anybody's free will, okay? Now, we visit this question again and again and again and again and again, and really from a quantum perspective, in terms of quantum manifesting, what we're talking about is really the idea that there are infinite versions of you, not just reality. Infinite versions of them, not just of reality. Infinite versions of this planet, of this earth, of this universe even. even, okay? So whatever you decide to plug into, whatever version of you decide to plug into, if that version is a match to the version, let's say this person wants to manifest you or a specific version of you, there will be a matchup. There will be a rendezvous, as Abraham Hicks likes to say it, which I really enjoy that, okay? You'll be rendezvoused with this person. It's, I don't want to say it's magic, and there's no one out there telling you to do it. It's just the way things match up, all right? It's sort of like attracts like. Okay, if you're putting out a certain frequency, you're going to tune into a certain station, okay? Like a radio station or something. That's what you're going to hear. All right, if I'm tuned into the radio station that's playing 60s music all day long, I know there's a radio station playing heavy metal, okay, but I'm not tuned into it. But I know it's playing, it exists, it's out there, it's broadcasting, okay? Just because I'm not tuned into that station doesn't mean it's not broadcasting. But if I tune my tuner into that station, then I'll hear the heavy metal station, and I'll tune out of the station playing the 60s music, you understand? So this is kind of how things work. But yes, we co-create, all right? There is a co-creation that's going on. But look, if you're attracting a version of him that's sort of your specific version of him, there's a version of him out there that's not living that life with you, but there's a version of him that you're going to attract. So you're basically jumping timelines in that instance, and you're going to go out or rendezvous with or have some kind of relationship or dealings with that version of him that you are attracting, okay? This is why we always say everyone is you pushed out, because it's about you, what you're putting out there. If you're focused on somebody being angry with you all the time, that's the version of them that you're going to keep manifesting, that you're going to keep pulling into your physical experience. Doesn't mean that there's not a version of them out there that is nice and that doesn't get angry all the time or that kind of thing. You see what I'm saying? So you want to focus. This is why it's important to focus on those aspects of the person that you're interested in, that you want more of, rather than the aspects that you want less of. And so many of you out there are doing that, right? This is kind of where we get hung up, because we go, well, they didn't contact me. They dropped me from social media or blocked me from social media. They told me this mean thing, and you keep playing that scenario over and over in your head. You're going to keep reintroducing that version of them into your physical experience. You have to unhook from that. You have to stop looking at those things that you don't like about them and start looking at the things that you prefer about them, that you want to see from them, and you'll begin to see them change their behavior. But that is another version of them slowly coming into view for you. You understand? You're tuning into the station where that version of them is broadcasting. So, and I realized that maybe that requires a whole nother video, because now we're getting a little bit off track a little bit from your email. But I wanted to address that to begin with, because you had that question right at the end there. The second part of your question is it my higher self is showing me an alternative? Yes and no. Your higher self is always showing you alternatives and opportunities, and always giving you an option, you see. It's you that decides with your conscious mind which one you choose, okay? Which station do you tune into? Again, all these stations are available to you at all times. You bring them into existence by bringing them into your awareness. The moment you imagine something as being possible, it exists. That station is playing that thing and broadcasting that thing 24/7. But if you're tuned over here, you're not going to be able to hear what's playing on that station. It's really that simple, okay? So, but this is interesting. This is an interesting email. I like it because it allows me to get into something, an interesting idea, which is this idea of your free will, because it does come down to your free will. They have their own free will, but they're also living in their own kind of reality. Yes, together with you and together with all of us, but also kind of capsuled off a little bit, you understand? So if you can imagine infinite different universes, that means that every single one of us is at the center of our own little universe. People have a lot of resistance about that. They start shouting immediately about, well, that seems selfish, or does that mean the other people aren't real? They are real. And there's nothing selfish or self-centered about it. We're all doing it, you see, all the time. So as we then co-create together, this is what we're doing. We're then co-creating, you see. But first we create on an individual level, okay? So you are always given options, you understand? So let me go through this a little bit, and then maybe this will make a little bit more sense. So you did well. You're dropping your resistance, okay? You're opening up to receiving and giving love. And I like that you put receiving in there, because a lot of times we stress, and a lot of coaches will stress, hey, give love, give love. And that's true. You want to give, but you also want to be able to receive, okay? You're a receiver as well. Be comfortable with receiving love, and embracing the bridge of incidents. And really all that means is, listen, I'm going to the end of what it is I want. I'm feeling like I have it. So I don't need to worry about all the steps that need to take place for me to get there, which is what your mind wants to constantly do. It wants to constantly figure out, well, let me take step A, step B, step C. Am I on the right path? Am I doing this? This is all what your mind keeps throwing up. Am I doing this correctly? Am I doing it wrong? Am I on the right path? Is this the person for me? Are we a good match? Is it meant to be? Yada, 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 yada. Free will or not free will? This is all your mind. And what I tried to say in the last video, and some people didn't quite get, is you want to use less of this and more of this, your heart, okay? This is where you feel into it, all right? And feeling into it is getting to the point of feeling like you have the thing that you have. It's not that complicated, guys. Again, if you're making it complicated, that means you're trying to do it with your head, okay? And your head is going to go, oh, wait a minute, but. Forget it. Learn to turn off the head. And this is why meditation is so important, to practice turning off the thinking process all the time. Now, your mind is good for certain things, for certain analytical things. It's good for deciding, hey, what you want. What am I going to have for breakfast today? Okay, what time do I need to be at work? Yes, it's good for those kinds of things. But when you're trying to use it for something like this and trying to figure out these great, grand questions of the universe and your life, you're really shooting yourself in the foot. And this is what our culture has tried to teach us to do, to move us away from our creative facilities and our capabilities and bog us down with using our mind for everything. There's no balance anymore, you see. So anyway, that's for another time. But let me continue with this. So the surprise of the romantic story we can tell. So I love that. I love that you're saying, listen, I'm going to give up the process. I'm going to let go of the resistance first. That's important. I'm going to give up the process to the universe. The process of getting there, remember. Okay? Not whether you deserve it or not. None of that is up to the universe. The universe is there to show you the way, the path towards what it is you want. Once you've decided what that is, and once you've clearly decided what that is. Okay? Now, so many of you don't know what it is. You just say, I want my SP. What does that mean? Fill in the blanks there. You know, now Sophie here has a good idea of what it is she wants. And a lot of times, if you don't have that clarity, it's the experiences you have in life that will bring you towards more clarity, you see. If you don't know what you want, then just live a little bit longer. Go out with some people so you collect some more data. This is another thing that your mind is good for, collecting data and determining what it is you want and what it is you don't want, okay? So she's decided, hey, I don't even care about these things that maybe bothered me before. Maybe there's an age gap. There's all these other differences. I don't care. I want this guy, and here's what I want with him, okay? And here's what I want by the time I'm in my 30s. I want to have a committed partnership, all right? I want a home, a kids, a family. You know, I want a marriage with my ideal man. Now, here's the key, because you say in brackets, right after you say with my ideal man, hopefully this specific person, absolutely, it can be this specific person, or an even better suitor who's more in line with where I wish to be. So understand this, okay? Now, this plugging into what I said earlier, if it's this SP and you really want this to be the guy, then you're manifesting that version of him, you see. You're manifesting that version of him that fits into your picture, your vision for how you want your life to be over the next several years, where you want to end up in a partnership with a family and a home and all that kind of stuff. That's stability, okay? So now, why then are you suddenly coming up with this other guy that you had a crush on years ago, your tutor from 4 to 10 years ago, who was married? Well, you're answering your own question. So many times you guys answer your own question in these emails, and I love it. Listen to this. You're now so plugged into what it is that you want, and you've let go of enough resistance that what's happening is that your mind, and yes, you can say your inner being, okay, your higher self, is reminding you of that time. You see, here's what's happening. You're opening up your channels to this, all right, to your ideal man. So a vision of somebody that you saw as an ideal partner, or rather what you saw as an ideal partnership, right? Because here's what's important. You're not just saying you had a crush on this guy, your tutor from years ago, but you looked up to his marriage. You used his marriage and his home life and his children and his family life as a model for what it is that you want to manifest, what it is that you desire. So this is coming back into you as a way of, it means that you're tuning into that channel. You know, when you're like, I don't know if you remember these old, if radios still do this. I don't really listen to the radio anymore, but I remember the old radios when you had to tune with the big knob, you know, and you saw the little thing moving across the numbers, like, and you'd hear a story, you know, like a little voice around, and Thursday night, and you had to sort of like tweak it and fine tune it like this a little bit, and then the voice would get clearer and the signal would get clearer, and then suddenly you'd get a nice clear signal, a nice clear voice coming through. But you'd hear little glimpses of it, and then you'd be, okay, I'm a little too far over here, I'm a little too far over there. This is kind of how manifesting works, okay? You're sort of fine-tuning your tuner a little bit. You're like, ooh, I'm getting, okay, there's the station I want. Oh no, now it's gone again. Oh, now there's static again. Wait, oh, there it is. Oh, no, I'm a little too far to the left now. You see what I'm saying? So this is kind of what's happening right now. As you are tuning more and more into the station, the frequency that it is that you want, the broadcast that you're interested in, you're hearing little glimpses of it. You're seeing little bits of it. So this is popping up into your mind as a way to show you, hey, you're headed in that direction. You're pointing yourself in that direction. You're pointing your signal in the direction of that frequency. You're receiving that frequency. Here's a glimpse of it. Here's a little voice of it. Because that is connected, intricately connected to what it is that you desire to manifest with this specific person. So this other person's coming in through your dreams, right? What was it? Another crush of mine keeps reappearing in my imaginal acts and in my daydreams. Your attraction has sparked up for him before. Listen to what you're saying and look at what you said before that. My SP, or somebody in line with what I want. My ideal man. So this is showing you and reminding you of what that ideal man is. Before you met your SP, probably this was your version of an ideal man. And his marriage to his wife and his home life was an ideal version of a partnership and a marriage and home life and family life. It helped inform you and your desire for that thing in your own life, you see. So now you're being kind of shown that again as a way to cement that in your mind, to remind you of that and to fine-tune that frequency. I would say it has very little to do with that person specifically, that tutor person specifically, that it has to do with you being shown, hey, listen, this is what you want. This is the direction you want to focus in. Look at the ideal marriage that this tutor person had that you had a crush on. And you had a crush on him because, you know, yes, of course, he was attractive probably and all that stuff, but you had a crush on him because you wanted that that was your version of an ideal man at that time. And maybe that's still your version of an ideal man at this point. So this is the thing to focus on with your specific person, you see. Your higher mind, your inner being is asking you to focus on that right now as a way to fine-tune even more into this ideal life that you desire with your specific person. To bring those qualities that this tutor person had out more in your specific person. So it's asking you to look at that and go, well, what about that situation? What about that man made him an ideal man to me? What about that tutor's marriage to his wife and his family and his home life made that situation ideal to me, that I wanted that for myself? So that as you go in your imaginal acts, because that's what your mind is doing, you're going into your imaginal acts and your daydreams, and you're going back to a time where you had a perfect vision of that. And the perfect vision was presented to you through this person of the tutor and his wife and his home life and his situation, right? See, I would never get with him and split him and his wife up as they have kids and were what I used as a role model for what I wanted in my ideal future. You just answered your own question. So as you're tuning more and more into the frequency of what it is that you want with your specific person, this guy and his wife, it's not just him, right? It's his marriage that's popping up for you too. It represented something to you, you understand? And now this is important because I said this in the last video and some people didn't seem to understand it. I want you to feel into it. I don't want you to think into it, okay? You need to feel what that is. What did that make you feel like? When you had this tutor and you had a crush on him, but you also admired his wife and his children and his home life and his marriage and his partnership. How did that make you feel? What feelings were you reaching for by looking at that? You understand? Was it security? Was it a sense of passion or that sense of partnership that, what is it that you want to be after? What is the feeling state that you're after? I say this time and time again, guys. This is what it comes down to. Okay? You don't think yourself into your situation. You feel yourself into it. You need to understand the state that you want to achieve. And then live in that state. Live in that end. Feel as if you have it, not think as if you have it. And I understand the different schools of thought about this. And there are different schools of thought. And yes, I can understand that it can be confusing. But if you're confused by it, then that's an indication that you're using your mind a little too much and not enough of your feeling. Who gives a damn, who says what and who says this and if this contradicts? Feel the way you want to feel. Understand what that is. Understand why you want these things. Now, some people want a romantic relationship because of the passion and the adventure and the sexiness of it. Okay? So then feel that. Feel that now. Look in your life right now where you have access to feeling that way right now. Whether that thing that you think represents that in its utmost exists in your physical reality right now or not. You have areas in your life where you have access to feeling that way. Maybe having a pile of money represents freedom, independence. So where do you have freedom and independence now? Reach for that feeling and practice that feeling as much as possible, because that's the frequency along which the money exists. But not just the money, all these other things that you don't even know that you can possibly have right now. Okay? So the money is along the frequency of freedom and independence. For some of you, the money is along the frequency of security, predictability, safety. Okay? So tune into that frequency. All right, that's the station where that stuff is playing. You want to fine tune. Okay, so right now this is coming up, and it's a sign that you're on a good path here. It's a sign that you're on the path towards what it is you want. I'll say that because that's probably ultimately what you want to hear from me. Tarkan, does this mean I'm getting what I want? It means that you're tuning in to the frequency that you prefer. So you're doing well, I would say, in terms of bringing this and getting yourself to the station where this ideal version of your life is broadcasting with your specific person. It's bringing you little hints and glimpses of that right now. It's saying, hey, it's okay in your visualizations, in your meditation, whatever, to kind of wander off to this guy for a bit, this tutor guy, and to his marriage, which you used as an ideal model for your future marriage and relationship. No, it's not going to be the tutor guy. It's not saying that the tutor guy is better suited to you. No one is ever going to say that to you, okay? The universe doesn't operate like that. There's no God up there that's like telling you, or some committee or some parliament. I don't know about Sophie. I don't know if she should have that guy. Okay, let's have a vote on this. Should we let Sophie have this guy, or should we tell her she needs to be with this guy? It doesn't happen that way. See, we still have this, because we've been taught to listen to authority all our lives, that we don't understand that we have this power. We are the authority in our lives. We are the ultimate authority in our lives. So the universe is never going to tell you, you can't have this guy, you should go with this guy. No, the universe is always trying to guide you towards what it is you want. It understands what it is you want better than you do, because we're often using our minds to understand what it is you want. So it's getting you even a more accurate version of what it is you want. And it's letting you know right now, hey, remember this guy, and remember how you used this as a model for your ideal marriage, your ideal partnership, your ideal future, and the kids that they had, that you wanted that too. Well, we're reminding you of that right now, because this is the frequency along which you should travel to get that situation for yourself. It's being broadcast. It's over here, and it's guiding you. I don't know what I'm doing here, guys. A little fishy. It's guiding you towards the signal all the time. Your inner being starts broadcasting that signal the moment you have a desire. The moment you set an intention for something, it begins broadcasting. And your only job at that point, the only thing you really need to do is find that signal. And I've explained this in terms of, what Abraham Hicks talks about, the emotional guidance scale. This is why you feel your way into it and not think your way into it. Okay? If you're having a thought about something and it feels horrible, that's an indication from your emotional guidance system, your inner being going, no, you're moving away from the signal that we're broadcasting. Your stuff is over here. It's shining like a beacon, like a, I've messed this word up before, a light tower. Anyway, and somebody corrected me and then I forgot. A light tower, that guides ships. Why do I have a problem with that word? Anyway, so, it's always shining like a beacon for you. Okay, but what we do is we wander off over here. We're like, oh, no, it's over here. Oh, I can't have it. It's too hard. It's too far away. But it's always there. The signal is always broadcasting. The station that you want is playing 24/7. 24/7. Okay? You need to find the signal and tune into the frequency. And Sophie, that's what's happening here. That's what I see happening here, because it's throwing up these memories. It's going, hey, remember that? This is the ideal version. So you need to focus in your visualizations along that line of what that meant to you. It wants you to remember that, because this is the thing that served as a model for your ideal man and for your ideal marriage and partnership and family life. So dive into it and then take those scenarios and apply them now to your situation with your specific person. Think about that tutor and his marriage life. Now, what made it so ideal for you? Your inner being is asking you to remember that right now as a way to help guide you towards that ideal goal. You see? So sit down for a little bit and think about that tutor for a little bit, okay? Because that's what you're being asked to do right now. So think about that tutor for a little bit, but think also about his situation that you were so attracted to as well. You weren't just attracted to him, you were attracted to his life, okay? So what about his life made you want that? How did looking at him and his life and his situation with his wife and family make you feel that you wanted that? That's the feeling and the ideal that you want to plug into right now. So it's bringing this up for you to use it again, once again, as a reference point, okay? It's just a reference point. And this is why, this is an interesting thing, because I think you said it's something where I said I'm going to revisit that. You said something about studying. Was it you? Anyway, it came up in my mind that we should always be finding people that are living the ideal version of what we want, okay? And there's, with the internet, it's easy to do, all right? If you want to have a lifestyle of wealth, you want to be a wealthy person, go study wealthy people. Study their biographies, study their lives, study their philosophy on life, study what it is that they do, how they think about things, how they react to problems and situations, okay? Emulate them, all right? Go hang out where wealthy people hang out in your city or town. Okay, just go hang out there, watch them, observe them. If you want to have a romantic relationship, you want to have that beautiful romantic story, go watch rom-coms and watch like beautiful romances and read romance novels and read the stories of real people in the real world, biographies of famous people that have the ideal marriage or love story that you want to be living. You understand? So this is how you do it. If you want to be, if you want to be a lawyer, go study the best lawyer. This is what you do, right? If you want to do something in your life and become something in your life, you look at the people that you find that are the best at that thing. And you look at what it is about what they're doing and how they handle life and how they handle situations that you're going to emulate. They serve as role models to you. So your mind is throwing up, your inner being is throwing up this role model. And not just the tutor wasn't the only role model, his wife was a role model too. His children were a role model too. His whole life was a role model to you. So it's asking you to study that again. It's asking you to revisit that. It's asking you to look at that again and then to bring that into what it is that you want to manifest now. How was he being? How was he being in his life that he was bringing that beautiful marriage and that beautiful family life into his experience? There's a part, it's interesting now, listen to this, okay? Even though this is a man we're talking about and you're a woman, doesn't matter, okay? It's asking you to go, be like him. Be like him. Here's somebody who has what you want. Study him. Be like him. How is he dealing with his life? What is his attitude on things? What is his attitude on the world, on relationships? This is how you need to be, okay? So as you become more of that version of yourself, you're bringing in more of the things that are a match to that, like he did, okay? He manifested that for himself, all right? So this is, use him as a role model and use his wife and his kids and his life and his family as an inspiration and as a case study to decide how do I need to, along what frequency do I need to vibrate? How is it that I need to be to bring that into my existence? And here my mind and my inner being is throwing this up to me to tell me, oh, hey, look, this is the next step for you to take. Study this man. Remember this man. Even though you wrote him off and you had a crush on him, it was unrequited. Now that matters because you've got your specific person. But more than that, you've got an idea of where you want to be. And you've got that clarity now. So now it's showing you the next kind of little signal to follow. Okay? And this is the next signal for you to follow. All right? Whew, that's a deep one. Okay, guys, and I don't think I've ever really touched on that aspect of manifesting before. So I really appreciate it, Sophie. I really, really do. I hope that answers your question for you. I hope that is clear enough for you, and I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of questions in the comments about this too. But this is the kind of, I love stories like this because what this is kind of like you've moved from the, okay, I have all this resistance. Is it possible? Am I on the right track? You've kind of, you've reconciled all that now. You've dropped your resistance. You've been opening up to receiving and giving love. You've embraced the bridge of incidents. In other words, you've let go of trying to control the process so much, which is an important step. So now you're kind of on that next level of where you are at with your manifestation. You're getting close to it, okay? And this is showing that it's getting close to it because now it's like the universe has been waiting for you to open up to this now. It's been waiting for you to drop your resistance, to calm down, to not be so obsessed about the process, not be so obsessed about the person. Even the fact that you're saying, hey, I want it to be my specific person, but it could be somebody even more suited. That means it's going to be even your specific person even more, okay? Because that's another resistance, you see. When people go, no, it must only be them, that's another level of resistance because that comes out of fear, okay? Out of fear that it won't be them, all right? So just saying that, hey, I want it to be him, but I'm open to it being an even better person that's more in line with what I want. What you're doing is you're making what you want more important than the means of getting there, and that's how you're going to get there. And that's how it's actually more assured that it will be with this specific person, okay? If that makes sense. And I understand. I know the mind is going to go, what? Let it sink in a little bit. Let it digest, okay? Because this is the kind of stuff that your higher mind, your universal mind understands much better than your monkey mind, okay? And I speak from personal experience. I used to give way too much importance to my monkey mind. I still do too many times. But I understand it can lead to a dead end very quickly. So this is exciting for you, and it's exciting for me to talk about, somebody who's kind of like, oh, okay, I've gone to the next stage of this thing. And so at the next stage, what happens is all these clues are going to come in, and all these things are going to pop up in your mind that are important for you to pay attention to, like this person. Why does he keep popping up? Why does he keep popping up? Why does he keep popping up? It wants you to look at that. There's something for you to learn there now. Something there, a clue there that's going to take you even further down the path towards what it is you want, okay? So I hope that answers your question for you. And I'm also this is also from Sophie, actually, because she included a little manifesting story, success story here, which I really love. All right, so here's Sophie's little success story. So this happened 3 to 5 days before the 24th of December 2020, which is New Year's Eve. I had a last bulk of birthday and Christmas gifts and orders left to come before Christmas. So you had ordered these things and they're still arriving. Even with certain issues that were having indirect impact on the imports and exports at the English Channel of Dover. So interesting metaphor there, right? For resistance. Hey, where's my stuff? Where's my manifestation? How could it possibly reach me with all these issues going on, right? At the channel at Dover. So I did a shamanic visioning styled visualization. I don't I guess you did a visualization. I don't know what makes it shamanic, but that's cool. And embodied the me, the version of you, that I would be if all my orders and gifts had arrived and had been wrapped before the 24th of December, or even midday on the 24th. So I lived and planned my Christmas Eve in said imaginal act as if I had nothing left to do. There's nothing left for me to do. It's on its way. I don't need to worry about how it's going to get here. I don't need to worry about all the issues along the way. That's for the universe to deal with. That's the universe running the channel, the port at Dover. That's the universe dealing with all the issues of shipping and packing. That's not for me to do. I'm just going to the end where it's a done deal. It's a done deal. There's nothing left for me to do. I put in the order and I diminished my resistance around it. And I began to act and feel, there's that word again. I began to feel like it's a done deal. That's it. Now, guys, it's not even the act as if thing, okay? Act as if there's still an element of resistance there. And I'm not saying that's a wrong way to go. It's okay, it works for a little while, but understand that you want to embody the version of you that has the thing already. There's nothing left for you to do. You don't think about it anymore. You don't worry about it anymore. You're busy doing other things because it's a done deal, okay? I got up from the imaginal act as the new person who had nothing left to do. So in your imaginal act, again, you want to try to be in that version of you as much as possible. You don't have to be in it 24/7. It's enough if you do your 5 minutes of feeling it, okay? This is why I say when we do visualizations, you want to make sure you feel it real. It's not just about thinking it, okay? You can think it all day long, but you want to really get into that feeling. Now, that can be challenging for some people at first. That's okay. Practice it. It's practice that does it, okay? So I got up from the imaginal act as the new person who had nothing left to do, as if the ideal version of the wish was fulfilled. This is what Neville talks about, right? Blow me by... This must be an English... Is this an English expression? It means something else in the States. Blow me by the 24th, 3 to 5 days later, all items were delivered with only one to wrap, which was wrapped by mid-morning on the 24th. Notice how she had said by midday on the 24th. Here it was mid-morning on the 24th. This was a breakthrough in how to work this stuff for almost instant manifestation and how to truly drop resistance. So yes, thank you for that, for including that in your story, Sophie, because it really is so important. And it applies to everything in your life, okay? Every desire that you have, anything that you want to manifest, not just some Christmas packages, not just a parking spot, not just whatever it is, big or small, is just something that your mind makes out of it, okay? If you think like, well, it's easy for me to get, I don't know, this little manifestation, but it's hard to get this big one that I want. That's just your mind throwing out that resistance. To the universe, to universal mind, and to that higher version of yourself, there's no issue at all. There's no difference at all, okay? Like Abraham Hicks always says, there's no difference to the universe between a button and a castle, all right? No difference between $1 and $1 million, okay? No difference at all. So understand that if you are sitting there going, oh my God, how can this possibly work out for me? How could this possibly happen? Yes, I want that thing, but it seems so far away. It seems so impossible. It seems so complicated. That's your mind throwing that stuff up. That is resistance. You want to let that go as much as possible. The best way to let it go is to just do other things, okay? Meditate for a while, do other things, think about other things for a little while, then come back and do your visualization. And I think Sophie did that here, and I'd like to know more about what the shamanic part of that is. That's interesting. Did you do some kind of ritual? Maybe you burned some herbs or something like that. That can help, okay? Ritual can be important. That's why we do it, okay? It can help you focus, all right, into it. But she embodied it. Notice how she said, I embodied it. I became that person. It wasn't just that I thought of myself as that person. I became the person that had it all done and figured. It's all done. It's done already. It's already finished. A lot of times in your visualizations, one thing that really helps is not to try to visualize. People do this. They try to visualize every step of the way. I'll visualize the perfect date with my specific person. I'll visualize them calling me or texting me. You want to visualize maybe down the road when it's a done deal. You want to go to a place, a scene in your mind where it's finished, okay? Like she did. She's like, oh, maybe I'll visualize the people unwrapping the gifts and being happy to, and seeing their happy faces at what I have gifted them for Christmas, or even 6 months down the road talking about it with them. Oh, remember that thing you gave me at Christmas? I love that thing. It's so awesome. I use it, every day, whatever it is. You go to the end sometimes means go to after it's already been finished. It's already a done deal. For relationships, it could be, you're married for 5 years and you're watching pictures together of your wedding day, and you're remembering when Uncle Al got drunk and fell into the cake or whatever it is. You're painting a scene in your mind where you're already the person that it's a done deal. It's finished. It's over. It's a memory already. Okay, it's already a memory. So this is a perfect. That was a perfect question. Thank you for that, 𝗙ecie. Perfect little manifestation success story. I love that. It really, really embodies just how important it is to go into the finished state and to become that person that feels like it's done. You want to become the person like it's done. I don't need to worry about it anymore. All right. So thank you so much for your email, 𝗙ecie. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't done so already, please do so now. Please hit the notification bell so you can be alerted when I upload videos. Next week, there's going to be an interesting little one, so watch out for that. Okay, I think you guys will be happy. Thank you so much for your donations, everybody. I've gotten some donations the last couple of days too. I really appreciate it. If you want to leave me one, there's a couple links down for Cash App and for PayPal, and I want to make a little note too that if you are using Cash App and you have Bitcoin, I'll take donations in Bitcoin as well. I think that's possible to do. I'm not sure, but anyway, so thanks again, guys, for watching. I'm Tarkan. Until next time, I wish you all happy manifesting, and bye-bye.